Hello, my name is Richard. I'm a cosplayer, as you can see, and I pretty much always cosplay characters that look like me, old guys with gray beards. So I do old Ben Kenobi from the original Star Wars movie. I do Sir Barristan Selmy from Game of Thrones. I do Indiana Jones' dad from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the Sean Connery character. And another one of my old guys with gray beard characters is John Hammond from the original Jurassic Park movie, played by the actor Richard Attenborough, and this is the 1993 Jurassic Park. It's interesting in this film because they had two costume designers. So Eric H. Sandberg was the men's costume designer. And I haven't been able to find any articles or interviews or anything with him online showing his rationale for the character. But what I will say as a cosplayer, I'm in my 60s, you know, I'm on my feet all day at a Comic-Con. This is the most comfortable cosplay there could be, especially here in Southern California where it's warm. So I thought I would go kind of start at the top and go down. So the hat. The hat is supposed to be out of woven natural straw. If you'll see hats that are in seagrass, those are almost always too dark. And you don't want hats that are made out of paper braid or burry braid like this one is. So this was just an inexpensive hat that I got at a regular hat store at the mall, and it's made by St. Martin. It was very inexpensive. It's pretty cheaply made, but it has pretty much exactly the right shape. And so that's what I was looking for. And so about this hat, it's not a fedora. So here's a fedora, right? So a fedora has these pinches here. It has this kind of teardrop shaped crown. That's not what this is. It's kind of a straight stovepipe all the way around. It's got a round crown. Your head kind of can push it up there like that. And this hat, just for reference, has a 4-inch high crown and a 2.75 inch, it's like 2 3/4 inch brim. And the puggaree, okay, so what's a puggaree? So the hat band is, and you see it like on pith helmets and like the Anzac, the Australian, New Zealand Army Corps, you know, the famous hats that pin up on one side have this thing on it. It's called a puggaree. It comes from India, and originally, I suppose. And there's a place on Etsy called, the Etsy store is called Peter Shams, just like it sounds. And if you go on Etsy and search puggaree hat band, P-U-G-G-A-R-E-E, you'll come up with the store, and that's where I bought it. And it's not white that matches the rest of his outfit, and it doesn't match the hat. It's in between. It's kind of a cream. So how do these work? This is pretty cool because these are made so you can just quickly put them on and off. There we go. And so how it's made is a thing like this, and then on one side it's got a hook, and then their side's got a hook. So you can just hook it and wrap it around any hat. So that's how I was able to modify this hat to be correct. If you go on eBay and search gambler hats or golf hats, a ton of hats in the general thing will come up. You don't want it to be too straight-sided, nor do you want it to be too conical, a crown. And also you'll see a lot of them have called a pencil brim, where the brim turns up all around it. It's not that. The brim is just totally flat and has this, it doesn't have like a thick edge or anything. So it's got that kind of a brim. So that's enough for the hat. Now what about the glasses? There's a funny thing that happens with cosplay sometimes where a costume item that's supposedly a screen use costume item comes up for sale, but then you compare it to what you see on screen and it doesn't quite match up. So a pair of glasses came up for auction, and you can see written in the, you can see the writing inside. And the company is called Silhouette Titan Austria. And the model number is M7095. Now you can go on eBay right now and you can search Silhouette. Of course, you have to spell Silhouette correctly. Silhouette M7095, and a bunch of these come up, and they're all pretty much this. They're all the same shape and everything, and they just look too kind of big and too kind of round. If you see screenshots, and I've looked at some of them, the glasses are fairly small and oval. Now so these aren't the right ones. These are just comps that I found that look pretty close. But the ones on the film are interesting because they're kind of small ovals like I'm wearing, but they have a very, very subtle, a very faint aviator shape. And there's like a classic aviator. But, you know, not to this extent, but kind of a compromise between an oval lens and a shape and an aviator shape. So that's with the glasses. They have this really narrow inlay of like tortoiseshell around the outside, and they have this kind of bridge that goes toot, toot, toot like that. You'll see it if you look at the Silhouette M7095. Now the shirt. The thing with cosplay is, you know, you've got closet cosplay. Oh, I'm going to go to a Halloween party tonight and I'll grab something out. And then you have screen accurate. And, you know, sometimes what prevents you getting the screen accurate thing is it's just, you can get it, but it's just really expensive. Or sometimes with a lot of costumes, everything has to be bespoke. Everything has to be custom made. And it's a great thing about this costume is that, no, the shirt is widely available. The correct shirt, it looks dead on like the screenshots, is widely available and it's not expensive. You can get them on eBay used really cheap, or the new ones aren't that expensive either. And the company is called, because when I did my research for this character, I found out that every Latin country had a different unique style of shirt. And so this isn't the Mexican shirt, this isn't the Cuban shirt, this is the shirt style from Panama. And there's a company in Panama called Panabrisa, and you just type in Panabrisa and you can see this exact shirt. And then Panabrisa makes a lot of different shirts too. But now this is another one that's more of an ivory. His is white, more of an ivory color. So I thought you could kind of see some of the, you know, better show maybe on this than on a white one. But it's got the pockets above and below. It's got this pleat. And then it has this kind of placket thing that comes up with a little button, and matching from above, the little placket comes down with a button. And it has, there's no back seam, or not a seam down the middle of the back. You can see that it has this kind of scalloped thing like this, and the placket has little buttons again that don't do anything, and these rows of these very fine pleats. And it has these little vents on the side that you can open up. At first I had my button shut, and then I looked at the screenshot, and he has his open. Now what about the trousers? You don't really ever see them, and so it doesn't really matter. Just any kind of plain, because this is 100% cotton, any kind of plain cotton trousers. What I did is I just went to like a nurse supply shop, and they had a rack that had a sale rack, and they had a pair in my size for $15, and that works. So now what about his rings? You can see he wears a plain gold wedding band. On his other hand, he's got a ring on his little finger. You wouldn't call it pinky because they don't use that term in Britain, and he's a Brit, right? But you can't really see what it is. It's really kind of frustrating with this film. It's really hard to find clear close-ups of a lot of the costume items, and this is one of them. This is my mother's high school graduation ring, and it kind of looks like a classic signet ring, so that's what I wear on my little finger on the other hand. So that's his ring setup. Now what about the watch? there's a website called Watch Enthusiast, and they claim to have identified the watch. The one they give looks absolutely nothing like the screenshot, so you can kind of ignore them. But it's a gold watch. It's got a white face, Roman numerals. The screenshot's blurry, but you can see enough to see these things. It's got a gold case. It's got a white face, Roman numerals, and it's got two small faces. And the faces are kind of like at the 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock positions. And it doesn't have a moon phase. The one they show on Wrist Enthusiast has a moon phase, but his doesn't have that. And the case is a little bit wide, a little bit thick, a little bit on the gaudy side. It's hard to see. It looks like it may have some kind of design on it. And it's got 3 winders. It's got the main winder, which is proud, and then it has 2 small inset winders on either side. So once again, the Wrist Enthusiast one is wrong in that case too. Now this is not the correct watch. This is just a watch that my mother gave me. I'm looking for the correct one. Or at least not the correct one, which is probably super expensive, but a comp, one that has the correct dial with the little dials in there and everything. So the one part of the costume that I just could not find anywhere, and I ended up having to make it, is his watch band. And you kind of, I don't know if you can see it that well, but it's kind of puzzling over exactly what this thing is. And what I realized, it's like a Native American, like Navajo, different tribes, Zuni have them. And they call them watch tips. And they're basically a set of 2 trapezoids. They're generally in silver, but it's hard to find gold ones. But his are gold. John Hammond's are gold. But trapezoidal things, and they'll be mounted with turquoise, different stones. So I bought a pair of Native American watch tips, and they had turquoise, and I took the turquoise out and I put on amber, because that's how his is. So each of them has these 2 kind of thick bits of amber mounted in them like that. And of course it just has the regular band across the back. So I had to make that. Now it's really unclear. Once again, the screenshots aren't very good, if it really is amber or if it's some kind of stone or something. But I think, going with the theme, I would say amber. Now, what about the shoes? The shoes, you generally, if you search this, you're going to find the right kind of shoes. Mock toe driving loafers with gum sole. Now, these are just nursing shoes. They're super comfortable, and they're the mock toe. They're white, but mine are not correct because the soles are white. They should be that kind of gum color, that kind of amberish color. Now, do his shoes lace up or are they slip-ons? I can't find any screenshots that show it. There is a John Hammond action figure, and it seems like his are slip-ons. But anyway, these are the ones I have. You don't see it anyway because the trowel, of course, I have white socks. I'm guessing that you probably have white socks under there. Now, what about the cane? A bunch of people make these canes, but I think by far the best one, and it's not super expensive, is a guy, and he's in Santa Claus, Indiana. Who knew? And his eBay name is Cosology, Cosology. And his Etsy name is AWOL, like away without leave, AWOL. AWOLreplicaprops. Now, he casts these eggs himself, and they're real bugs. They have crane fly in them. In the film, it's not a mosquito, it's a crane fly, because it's bigger and it films better. He casts these. These are hardwood shafts he turns himself. They have a steel rod down the middle. It's a sturdy cane. You can use it as a cane. It's got the rubber thing. A lot of the things are like resin props just for display. I want a cane I could use because the real one's a real cane. And I don't know. There's probably no way to get it in focus where you can see the bug there. It's just my phone, so it's not very good. So I think this wraps up the costume. It's a comfortable costume. It's cool. It's not super expensive to put together. So it's really one of my favorite. And everybody recognizes the character. And I'll walk by and they'll always say, "You spared no expense." Well, I kind of did. I got my pants off of a sale rack from a nursing supply store, but you know, still that's the line from the film. All righty.